noći nemaju slanuća, što kafana postade mi kuća, što su meni noće tako važna, ta dva oka, dva bisera važna, što su noćas meni tako važna, ta dva oka, dva bisera važna. Cele noći ti si mi u glavi, gde da idem, kome da se javim. Sreće nemam, a nemam ni nade, neko drugi od mene te krade. Sreće nemam, a nemam ni nade, neko drugi od mene te krade. Oči su mi uvele od tuge, ubiše i ove noći druge. Progledat će ove noći moje, samo usne da ljube i tvoje. Progledat će opet noći moje, samo usne da ljube i tvoje.
Dobro večer, ladies and gentlemen, my good friends, and dobrodošli. A special Monday night edition with Danny Danilovic, legendary member of the United Serbs. Hvala vam što ste se pridružili nama večeras. Ostanite tu. Danny Danilovic coming up next. All right, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and do me a big favor, will ya? Share the link to this page and let the world know we are live. Danny Danilovic of the United Serbs. Sanama večeras. Got time? See how you do. Here we go.
Tebe sam sanjao snove i budio dane nove. za tebe gradi sreću, za tebe vreću, za tebe gradi sreću, za tebe vreću. Za tebe anđele, za tebe đavo, za tebe da ću sve. Za tebe anđele, za tebe đavo, za tebe da ću sve. Za oči zelene, za usne rumene, za tebe anđele. Za tebe anđele, za tebe đavo, za tebe da ću sve. Za oči zelene, za usne rumene, za tebe anđele.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, there they are. Legendary prijatelji moji, United Serbs, who we all grew up with, and sa nama večeras u našu večerašnju emisiju. Po prvi put, direktno, one-on-one, ladies and gentlemen, a person I am honored to call a friend, Danny Danilovic is here with us this evening.
Hello, Goran. Kako si, brat?
Dobro večer i dobrodošao.
Hvala.
Thanks for agreeing to partake in this project of mine.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Really, truly appreciate it. You know, you've been a very big influencer in my life and in my career, and I want to say unapred right off the bat, thank you. A lot of your energy soaked into me, and I think I'm blessed enough to be able to move forward with, you know, entertaining the masses as you guys were.
I think a lot of that is true, because when I see you up there on the stage, I always think, man, he stole all my stuff, you know. So, but I could tell that you listened very closely. The screaming and the hype. You're the hype man. That's what you got to be.
You know, we learned from the best, and you were one of those as far as I'm concerned. But Danny, let me tell you, let's talk about you. Let's talk about the United Serbs. I was insistent on this, and I'm sorry, malo dosadan, I know, but I really wanted the story of the United Serbs, Danny Danilovic, to come out, and for people to know you have that following. They're watching you on Facebook Live. You're taking us back into time capsule it is. Tell us a little bit about you, Danny. Desi se rodio. Where were you born? And when did your parents come over? Let's start with that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I knew the United Serbs were popular, obviously. It showed in our bookings and everything, but I didn't think that so many people were still interested in it. But then, you know, you look back, nostalgia is always recycles itself, and we all want to relive the memories of the old days. Where I was born in South Chicago Community Hospital on 95th. Lived there on 93rd and Luella. My parents, that was probably their third house. Parents came over in the 50s separately. My dad came over through New York. He was a Chetnik. He came in on the empty American military boats. They were given a ride here. And my mom came up through New Orleans, and they met in South Chicago. My mom actually is German, not even Serbian, but she was born in Vojvodina, and so were her parents. So she was raised in the Serbian world, spoke fluent Serbian, fluent English. And that way, when she came to South Chicago there, she was looking for German kind of entertainment, but there wasn't anything up in the South Side. So she heard of the Serbian church, and she went there because she spoke Serbian and loved dancing Serbian, and she met my dad there. And but I did not come along till 1963.
Born in 1963.
Yeah, ancient times.
Don't worry.
What's this page called again? Got Milk?
Got milk. Close. Got time.
I got it. Okay.
Got time, but that's all right, because we know everybody's got time in 2020, right? Yeah. Let's talk about the times of you growing up. Where did you grow up? So you grew up on the South Side or East Side?
No, I was not from the East Side. Technically, I was on the South Side, on the other side of the river. There, I'm a member at Sveti Simeon, 114th, and that's where my dad was a member. He was originally with 98th and Commercial, and when the split happened, he flew the coop over to the Roscoe side, and that's where he was a founding member there. His name's on the wall with a lot of the older guys. So that's my home away from home.
So after how long did you live on the South Side?
Third grade, we moved away, so not that well. Yeah, how old are you in third grade? I guess.
Max, so how old are you? 9, 10? 8, 9, 10? Too small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me your next stop. Are you still in South Chicago? Where did you move to after that? How did that work?
No, then we moved to Calumet City. My dad moved us to Calumet City. Loved living in Calumet City. Close to the expressway, everything was there. A lot of Serbs started moving to Calumet City. And plus we weren't far away from the church. 15, 20-minute ride.
Right. And let's just fast forward a little bit. Where did you go to high school?
Thornwood High School in South Holland.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I went to Thornwood before there was any Serbs there. Serbs started coming in there a little bit later, but as far as I know, there was like Mili Lamaic, Rodney, Bob Petrovic, George Vesmar, few of us.
And then the move into Northwest Indiana. Is that what happened?
Yeah, about 95, we moved to Northwest Indiana, Calumet City. The neighborhoods change, and we moved over here, and that's where I'm at right now.
Where is that? Is that Maryville, you said?
We're unincorporated St. John Township.
Oh,
you can say Cherville. Gotcha. But I'm surrounded by all those other towns, a little piece that's unincorporated.
Right. Danny, let me ask you a question. Let's go back. In high school, did you always know that you were going to be a musician? Did you always know that you were going to be an accordion player, a claviaturista? Tell me, was there any other instrument that you were learning prior to this? How did this whole ordeal slowly come together?
I never had any ideas of playing music. I loved folklore. I was a dance teacher. I loved recording music, collecting folklore, collecting colos. My dad just got tired of me standing on the walls watching the music and watching the dancing. He's like, well, if you're going to just stand there, you and all your buddies are going to make a band. So it was his idea. I never even thought of it.
And what grade were you in? This was high school?
This was only like 7th grade. He bought me an accordion. I'm already in 7th grade, and I love the drums. Actually, I would pound on the carpet and pillows, and I was pretty good at. I thought that I already knew how to play drums because I had the timing and everything, but I never thought I would play really drums. But
so he buys you this accordion.
Yeah,
and he goes, "Mali, imaš da sviraš." Is that what happened?
Yeah, I was kind of pissed. I wanted to play the drums. Luckily, I didn't. But no offense to the drummers, but I remember everybody went to this one teacher on the east side called Stevens, Mr. Stevens, American guy, and he taught everybody because there was no Serbian teachers around yet. They weren't over here yet. And I remember taking 2 lessons, and I had enough because I thought I was already learning stuff on my own faster than he could teach me. So,
was he teaching you Serbian music or was he teaching you English?
No, English. I do. He
Lawrence Welk, like?
Yeah, just beginner stuff, trying to get you acquainted. And he did. He got me acquainted with the keys and the left hand.
The scale.
I had no clue on the left hand what to do. And he did give me some very raw, basic stuff, and I took it from there.
All right, so you start, and then now you're in high school, right? Is there a želja to learn the accordion now? Is there a?
Well, my mom didn't like it. My mom thought, "Why'd you buy him that accordion? He needs to go to school and concentrate on college. He's already in a folklore group. It's enough." And I told this story before. My mom just was worried that I would not go to school, but that wasn't going to happen anyway. But so she didn't like it. So I practiced when they went outside the house, when they left, or when my dad was down there. And, he didn't know that I was practicing. And one day he comes down and he hears me sounding pretty good. And he was shocked. So by senior year, I was playing pretty decent for no lessons.
All right. Senior year would be what year approximately? Timeline here. Timeline for the people.
80-81.
80-81. So your 80-81 comes, your father says, Dobro svira, Vali. And then he slowly says, what? Well, how does the connection now happen? Did the United Serbs exist? What were the bands at the time when you were younger, in high school?
Well,
what were the bands at the time?
Immediately we formed a little band. And when I got the accordion, he drafted all these other friends of mine at the time. They were a little older: Dragan Jankovic, Bob Petrovic, Milan Jerkan. and Pete Jovanovic, and all these guys that were just, hanging around. And he just put them together like, yeah, go ahead. You guys are going to make a band, And I, obviously, a lot of those guys fell off early. And me and Rodney came in a little later when I ran into him in Cal City. I didn't even know he moved out there. But Rodney had some talent.
Rodney Vesmar, is that correct?
He had some guitar talent. He already played guitar with his dad, whenever his dad would sing. And anyway, so my dad comes home from work one day, 1980, and he brings these two guys with him.
All right.
And he's like, oh, moje prijatelje da čuju kako sviraš. I'm like, oh, Dad, come on. I wasn't good yet. And, he never did that before, though. But
What, were you like a little nervous, or were you just?
I didn't know who these guys were. I didn't know if they were better than me or if they were the same as me. But they were older. There was like a grown man. When I look at him, he was 7, 8 years older than me. And they come in my basement, and they're nice guys. And it was Milan and Rade.
Rade Ostojic, right?
Yeah, they worked at the steel mill there with my dad, and I played for him and stuff. And I figured, everything was fine. They didn't say nothing. They had a band at the time called Srpsko Mladino, and I had my little band, and that was the end of that. There was no like, hey, we want to join or something. Nothing yet. So 4 or 5 months go by. This is like, I think it's winter time. I'm in senior year of high school. I get a call from Milan Kalaba. He says, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I'm Milan Kalaba. I come by your house there one day, and I'm like, oh, yeah. But I got to say, at this point, I knew who Rade Ostojic was.
Okay.
His mother lived with my kumovi Turajlic, okay, Anika and Jovo Turajlic.
Okay.
She lived with them. So she always talked about her son Rade, and I met him a few times at folklore things, but we didn't talk much. How you doing? That kind of thing. So I already kind of knew him or who he was, and so yeah. Then Milan calls me, says, my band kind of broke up, and I don't know if you want to help us finish out these. We got like 5 bookings or something. If you guys could help us out, so we could finish these off, and and then we did it. The first thing we did was a wedding at St. George in Cherville. And I think it was, I can't remember the name right now. Maybe it'll come to me. Matijevic, Stevo Matijevic wedding. First gig for United Serbs. We weren't called that yet. But, we had maybe one rehearsal, but there was no time. And after that, we had a few more rehearsals because we had a few more gigs. And then we just kind of got along well. And somebody said, Milan, he said, why don't we make a new band,
So let me stop you for 1 second. Let me show a picture, ladies and gentlemen. This is a picture of your father.
Yeah.
Your father is the gentleman in the red tie.
Right.
And what was his name?
Vjekoslav.
Vjekoslav
iz Krajine, iz selo Strmen, Kordun. Americans just called him Vince.
As is typical.
And would always spell it. Yeah, Vjekoslav. V-J-E-K. The J always screwed him up.
And that's a picture with this Ostojic that we're talking about, right?
Right. The old workmates there, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, this was who he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That was his father. That is Mr. Danilovic with Rade Ostojic. All right, so here you go. They come, you do the first wedding. How does that go?
It goes good, because I knew my colos, Milan knew his colos. They sing their stuff, and we did our stuff. And my band, my little band, we had no singer. Nobody sang. I certainly didn't sing, but they had a singer. So this was perfect. Me and Rodney right away. These guys sing. And, that's what we need. Can't do it without a singer. So
this is another picture of, ladies and gentlemen, Rade Ostojic, the United Serbs singer. Is that right, Danny?
Yeah, that is correct. That was taken at his son's wedding, George's wedding.
Bravo.
I like making those kind of flyers. I thought it was cool.
And then the gentleman that came with them was this guy right here.
That's right, Milan Kalaba. Were brother-in-laws. Well, they still are, But Milan married Rade. Rade married Milan's sister. Excuse me. So they are in-laws.
Wait. Clarify again. Who married who?
Milan. Rade married Milan's sister, Nada. Right.
Okay, got it. All right, so they come in, you play this first wedding, and now you're supposed to end the season with them, right? Kind of, or were you guys going to continue?
No, we were going to continue. We knew right away we had something. We had 2 accordions. We were sounding good. I remember that first rehearsal. Milan right away said, "You're going to play a lead accordion." And I thought, well, why is that? He goes, you're a little bit better, but I didn't realize it. He played pretty good. I thought about the same as me, but he thought right away, no, you got to play lead, So he was the second accordion. Usually, unless him and Rade were doing something they'd been doing for years, he would just play it, and So yeah, we decided, well, maybe we should make a band. Well, what are we going to call it? Now that's the hard part.
This gets good. All right, go ahead.
Well, we couldn't think of it. We're thinking of names that are already out there, 1-word names. Soko, Serbia, Shumadia. These are all like places. And how many places are left? Ravna Gora, or something. But we're like, no, we don't want to like say that we're just that. We don't want to say Krajšnici, and then nobody's going to call us when they want to do a Shumadia wedding.
Sure.
Have to be something neutral. But there was, right away we're thinking this. We're thinking, I don't know what the other bands went through, but the sides were still split. Milan and Rade were not that they were. I don't think they really cared, but they were on the Fed side. That's where they were members at Svetilia. Me and Rodney were members at St. Simeon, and so we were Roscoe's. And now, back then it was still like, well, što zovete ove federalci da sviraju za našu zabavu, and vice versa. And we were talking about that. I'm like, well, what if we get some heat? We play over there, then they're gonna like me and Rodney. We play over here, and then I go, hey, that's okay, man. We're united. We're united, man. We don't care about that stuff. Milan, it was Milan right away. He brought the word united into it.
Right.
And and I don't know, for him or Rodney, and somebody just mentioned Serbs. That's it. And Rodney and him were all over it. I didn't like it. It sounded like United States to me. It didn't flow yet. This is a new word,
Wow.
But we couldn't think of anything better, really. And so we went with that. I said, well, let's just see how it goes. And then, Ujedinjeni Srbi was a little tough to say. So I think we were the first band to have like a name in English, right? Ujedinjeni Srbi, yes. And we were also United Serbs.
Let's talk about other bands on the scene when this group, Ujedinjeni Srbi, najbolji orkestar u Americi.
Yeah, in Velinka's eyes, definitely.
Yeah, I remember hearing that on the radio. And always brought a smile to my face, even when you put it on the tapes later.
The biggest hype person.
Tell me what other bands were out there. Now, we know that there was a transition in music from tamburica, right, to what people would call, and I've learned that term many, many years later, the boom boom band.
I think the boom boom bands were already established for a while now. I think tambura was always there, but tambura was past its peak. Now, I'm not saying that they're not. They never went away, and they certainly are still the bigger favorite at tournaments and stuff like that. People love that. But as far as the dancing in the hall, in the dance floor, I don't remember ever just tambura playing. I just think it was always a boom boom band. So who was out there? Mlada Srbadija, in my opinion, was the first American Serb band here in our area in Chicago, and that meant that was Vinko and his first band with Tommy and the names are escaping. Nick Torajlo and their guitar player who's since passed away. So, and then it was Soko came along just a little after them. Okay. Mladost was there with Duško, but the first Mladost got reincarnated 3 times. The first Mladost was Duško and Momčilović brothers and Mišo Lazović. No, Mike Lazović. That was the 4 of them. Yeah.
Tell me, did you?
I'm sorry, Momoranković and all those kind of Pješaković brothers. The older men were all there in the scene too.
I heard of bands, and I'm sure you might have heard of them too, that you maybe haven't mentioned. Avala, maybe they're from Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm not good with the history from Milwaukee or the North Side. because I wasn't there. My dad didn't take us that way. But yeah, there was a lot of bands. Serbia,
Belgrade, I think.
from Milwaukee, and there was Dunja. He had a band up on the north side.
That's right.
Rula, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him.
Yeah.
Danny, so this is what now, 1981, right? Is this what it is?
81. I'm still in high school for maybe 3 months, 4, and then I'm out.
So did you start teaching the folklore groups prior to being in the band?
No, because 81, I'm still in high school. I was still in a folklore group.
Okay.
So I actually quit the group when the band started because it was time anyway. But now the folklore groups came about 2 years later.
So you're in the band. United Serbs have now been in existence for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And now you get a phone call to teach, or you get a phone call to teach folklore?
Yeah, maybe it was 1 year. I don't know, but I think it was just 1 year. But yeah, I get a call from a guy from St. Saba, Micic, some guy, Dragic Micic, I think, older man.
St. Saba, Maryville, Indiana. Right?
Yeah, at the time, 49th in Hobart. And he asked me if I wanted to be their dance teacher. I said, you got the wrong number. I never even dreamed of being a dance teacher. I loved it, but who's going to listen to me? I'm not a dictator. And he talked me into it, and I said, look, I'll try it for a few weeks. If not, don't get mad, and I think they would give me $20 or something an hour and 2 hours. At first I said, no, I have a band. I can never do it. And he goes, do you play with your band on Tuesdays? I'm like, no, so then a couple months later, I get a call from St. George. Mr. Bull calls me up.
St. George, Cherville, right?
Yeah, same thing. I'm thinking to myself, why am I doing this? But it was money, and I got to like it. And then Svetilia called maybe a few months after that. They didn't call, actually. They sent Nada Ostojic because she was there. She goes, oh, Danny, you're not going to believe it, but they want you to be a teacher over here too. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Next thing you know, I'm teaching every night. I'm teaching somewhere. Wow. 2 nights at St. George, 1 night at St. Ilia, 1 night at St. Saba. And that became my life.
I'm going to throw a picture up.
Dance teacher, and then the weekend I played. And I'll tell you what, though, I think that's a good thing that happened because those kids got to know me one-on-one personally. They knew my name. They knew I wasn't just a dance teacher to them. I was a friend, Right. And dancing had not reached its pinnacle yet. Like now we have all these professionals teaching, and they're doing a great job. I was never in a professional group. I was making steps up, recording my own music. It was all made up. Maybe you'd get a hold of a videotape and learn off of that, teach them off the videotape. But videotapes just starting at this point.
Danny, I got a picture I'm putting up on the screen right now. And what is that? You in the middle right there?
Yeah.
And do you remember? Can you tell me what folklore group this was?
Yeah, this is St. Sava on 49th in Hobart.
Hobart, right? Now, Današnji Maryville, Indiana.
That's right.
What year was this, approximately? Do you know?
Well, early on, I was probably 82, 1982. I taught them for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
A long time. Danny Danilovic, the band starts. All of a sudden, you're getting phone calls to teach folklore groups.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of an impact did that have for the United Serbs as a group?
Well, at first, as I mentioned before, I didn't even have a microphone. I was just playing the accordion, and I was doing a show. I was more of a showman than as Rade and Milan probably knew that I played the little riff when they sang. I didn't even play because Milan was used to playing while he sang. So I'm thinking, well, I don't want even more noise in there while they're singing. So that's time for me to grab my drink, have a drink, talk to Rodney, and then my part comes. But when I did that part, I was, I was doing all kinds of shows. And I noticed people are starting to look at me, because I'm putting on a show, right?
Wait. I got that pick like that.
Yeah. So. What? Stuff like that, like
Danny Danilovic, all right? Look at him.
Like a Serbian Elvis, moving with an accordion. Yeah, so that for 2 years was that. But then I started noticing these kids were coming up to me, like my folklore kids, because then now they didn't come to the other guys, they knew me.
Right.
And I'm starting to hear Danny, Danny, Danny. I'm like, oh God, what is this? And I'm like, oh, no, you got to ask them. He's a singer. But Rade goes, no, man, that's all you. They're gonna want you. They want to talk to you. So I started They started asking me for stuff, and then came the microphone. I got a microphone, and forget about it. Now I knew every kid's name out there. That was another plus. I knew every kid's name, and then my people my age, I knew them, and then if I didn't know somebody older, I'd ask Rade, what's that guy's name? Oh, the Boško. Oh, the Boško, So that became a thing for us, just name calling.
I mean, but were the other bands at the time also doing shout outs, right?
Sure they were, but I don't think they were doing as much as me. I think I was probably overdoing it, but who knows? Maybe not. And then I started, making noises in between the singing and the woos and so I don't know.
Danny, you're starting to teach groups. You know all these kids personally.
Yep.
Now there's a direct connection to, an accordion player. When I came on the scene, right, many years later, I was the only Danny Danilovic I knew was the guy on the keyboard. The energy, the MC man on the keyboard. And I'm trying to picture you with an accordion, and it's very difficult.
Well, you just saw a picture.
Yeah, well, I mean, just
it looked like.
Yeah, okay, let's do that again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Danny Danilovic now harmonici. Yeah,
there you go, white pants and all, white shoes.
And there's this picture. Where's this picture from, Danny?
This is later. You can see I already had the keyboard. That's from Bellwood.
Bellwood. What year was this, approximately?
His head back there. I bet he loves that shot. Why you got to show that to him?
You start playing, and then when do you start? Well,
you know what? You just said that you caught me during the keyboard era.
I did.
You probably missed the most vibrant time of me, because when I had that accordion on, I didn't have much to do except play those parts in between the singing, and then maybe I'd sing with Rade, but I never sang lead, so I had nothing to worry about. So it was all show, man. I was all action and boo, hey. Once I got to the keyboard, now I had to play bass on the left hand. I had to do leads on the right, and then I started singing more. I didn't have time for all that. I was thinking like you're splitting your brain into different things, and you didn't see me at the peak of my animation, shall we say?
When do you think when did you feel the the ascension, right? You're ascending, you're getting steam, you're picking up more gigs. What was the breakthrough gig, if you will, right? There was a call, you get a call one place, and that place really sets the domino effect.
Well, I remember we were playing pretty much it's the way it is. Soko was the dominant band at the time. They were popular, and rightfully so. And then we were just getting whatever they couldn't make. Let's face it. They were booked up. Well, we got to get another band. So let's get United Serbs. Milan's got a band. And so we were getting a lot of that, and it was kind of I wouldn't say depressing, but we were getting good. We were practicing, we were getting our live show together. But when there's not people out there, you kind of just don't have the energy to play. But so one day, Milan calls me, he says, Duško Pejnović, he runs St. Sava soccer club over there, Serbia. They booked us for Serbia Soccer Fest, 3 days. So I said, wow, 3 days. I don't think I ever played 3 days in a row. So that, I believe that people came out because of the event, not because of the band,
Right.
Like you go to tournament, you're going regardless of who's playing. So we were playing for this big soccer tournament on 49th Avenue. And that's when I felt the big crowd, and that's when they heard us for the first time, I think, the majority of people. So there's still, it didn't change overnight. Soko was still a dominant band, but I think people heard us that weekend.
Did that open up more picnics or zabavas, or were you just kind of rolling with the weddings and christenings or other things you might have done?
Oh, we were getting, yeah, weddings and christenings. That's by choice. That didn't really go by popularity. I mean, a lot of people knew Rade and Milan. They were friends with them, so they called them for weddings and christenings, regardless of what band they were in or if they were popular or not. They wanted Rade singing, so Rade had a good wedding repertoire.
Got it.
So did Milan. They had a little act already. They had tons of songs ready to go for weddings. And so we were getting those, but we weren't getting the popular stuff yet.
Okay. And when you say popular, that would you mean the famous picnics at 114th? Would you that's amount?
Picnics were not yet in our repertoire.
Okay. When did that come about? Do you know? Do you remember?
Picnics came. We were trying to get in there. That was my church, and but they didn't want to get rid of Mladost or Soko because they were drawing people.
Of course.
Somebody canceled out. I don't know which band. Somebody passed away in a family, or they just had to pull out. Mm-hmm. And I finally got the call. Milan got the call, or was it me? I don't know. That we want to book you guys. And I thought, wow, here we are finally doing the 114th picnic.
Right.
And I remember at this point, kids are always asking me, my folklore kids, where are you guys playing next? And I would tell them St. Sava, St. George, St. Ilya, maybe even 98th or something. But when I said Sveti Simeon, they're like, what? Where's that? They never heard the number 114th, Their parents probably did, but they were still, those were Federalci. And they just didn't go that way, unless they had to. So I was giving out addresses, I was saying how to get there. I put it on a blackboard. And boom, next thing you know, we're playing 114th picnic and it's packed more than I remember. Because now all these Indiana people came in addition to what was already a good picnic.
So tell me now, you're teaching all sides in folklore. The split played a very, very large role in our community, especially at that time. How were you able to, as the United Serbs, get those gigs and play those gigs without people saying, well, if you're going to play there, we don't want you here? How did you get around that? That's something that I've been wondering, because that I'm sure from the stories that I've heard it's a very touchy and sensitive subject to a lot of people.
It was. I remember playing a lot of weddings, and they're mixed weddings because they were fed in Rasko. Unbelievable. They would get into fights. In a wedding party, would get into fights. So why do they get to go first? And that was a deep cut, but it was starting to fade. The young kids certainly didn't care what side that church was on. It meant nothing to them. I know what the split was about, and I can take sides if I want to get into a debate, but it didn't matter to me that much. I wasn't going to argue with anybody about it, so I didn't care. I mean, Soko was playing both sides. Mlada Srbadija. I remember them playing on everywhere. I remember that as a kid, I was only going to the Rasko dances because that's where my folklore group danced, right. And that's where we went. But I remember seeing. The bands everywhere, playing everywhere on both sides. So I think there was always those old people that were going to make a fuss, but they didn't have enough power anymore to stop it.
So in some way, your name, your band's name, the United Serbs, truly did that. United both sides, at least for
yes,
some recreational activities such as Zabavas and whatnot. I remember the first time Sveti Simeon, Gabriel Princip, 114th, came to our parish to perform at Holy Resurrection on Redwood Drive on the north side, that it was such a big deal. And fast forward, Danny, this is 1992. And if it was such a big deal then, I could just imagine what it was in 82, 83, 84. When would you say when was the band's peak? When did the band peak out? When was it like all time, Oh no.
Well, before I answer that question, we had a dance. The United Serbs had a dance, the band. So where do we have it? We're not Feds or at Auskonlici. We had it at East Chicago in St. George in East Chicago in the harbor. But since we were neutral, we invited both folklore groups from both sides. There was at Auskonlici and Fed, and this was the first time the Federalci kids were dancing at the harbor.
Wow.
It was a big deal. There was some pushback from their people on the Uprava, but they won out. I think they were told not to do it, but they went anyway. I think St. Ilya or St. George, maybe. I don't remember which. And we had that dance, and that was, I think, the first time folklore groups intermingled.
Wow. What year was this again?
Hard to remember. I was still, I think it was right around there, 90. Yeah.
Right.
And, okay, so you asked me, when did I notice we were at our peak?
Right. When do you see more bookings, more gigs?
Yeah.
You've now been able to, push back from, you're able to control the pushback from the split, so-called split.
It wasn't that much pushback.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Occasional.
Right. But, you're able to tame all that.
Well, bookings, not in 52 weeks, but, there was paused for 8 weeks or 6 weeks before Easter and before Christmas.
Right.
So that's 12 weeks, but 10 because New Year's Eve and American Christmas, we played those. So that's -2. So in, 42 weeks, we had 100 bookings. Back then, Sunday Zabave were still popular. The Chetniks, the Skolosistara, they liked Sundays. And which was good because now in the winter, we're playing these little dances on Sundays that would end at 11. And then we were getting a lot of Friday stuff, 3-day events, golf tournament, basketball tournament, Serb fests, things like that. So you got a lot of Fridays coming in there. We had, believe it or not, some Thursdays. Golf tournament once booked us from Tuesday through Sunday, St. Elijah. And so
Smith-Elia, Maryville, Indiana.
Yeah, it was a big golf and tennis tournament. We did not even play Tuesday, but we had our stuff there, So, we started playing a lot. So then I think Soko broke up at I don't know the date now. Alex Chulovic would probably know. He'll probably scroll that out. His band decided to break up. I think one of the couple of the guys were getting married. I don't know the story, but they decided to call it quits. So now,
I think that might be like 87, 88-ish.
Yeah, you could say that we were sharing the bookings at that time, but once they were gone, it all came to us. And that again increased our bookings. But it also, the Sundays were tapering off as far as Zabave.
Okay.
The picnics were there in the summer and the weddings, but you were losing the Kolos de Stara, stuff like that.
Mr. Chulovic on the screen has just confirmed January 1st, 1987 was
the last gig.
The last gig for Soko.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Chulovic.
Yeah, I knew he's full of facts. Let me tell you.
Walking encyclopedia, I promise you.
Yeah, I mean, when me and him talk, we talk like me and you. I mean, he's full of facts, and it's good to hear him talk.
Danny, let's move forward. I missed your prime, but you were still, as far as I'm concerned, growing up, the band to be. Tell me something about your favorite song, a song that you loved to play.
By the way, the peak that I believe was our ultimate peak was 92, 93, around there. I think that was that yeah, not by bookings, but by just the energy level. And then it started slowly to taper off, slowly. But I think that was the peak. So what was the question again? What was my favorite song to sing? I always loved singing Shada Planino.
Shada Planino.
Rado Ostojic and me. And why is it me that always sing it with them? I'm not sure. I think the harmony was a little odd on that one for Milan. And I kind of figured it out. Now, Soko did the harmony higher up. You did the main lead, and then the harmony they did it up here. So that's too high. Rada did it in C. That's a super high key. So what I did I went under. You don't know what I'm talking about. But it was a different kind of harmony, maybe like a Krajina harmony. And that gave him more power, in my opinion. And I loved it because, he would belt it out. I would hit the harmony. And then I started doing that woo in there. And the first few times I did it, he looked at me like, "What are you doing?" "I'm singing." But then he figured it out. It sounded good.
Of course.
And,
I grew up to that.
You know what the funny thing is?
Right.
If I would go to another dance with another band playing and they played Sharplanino, the kids would do that woo in there, even though the band didn't do it. They were becoming programmed to, my shenanigans, shall we say.
Entertainment is not shenanigans, but I get the point.
Well, my screaming. I was probably overdoing it in early years. I remember one night Milan said to me, "Hey man, why don't you tone it down a little bit? You don't have to scream and talk all the time. Let's play some nice music." And I got mad. It was 114 Picnic, and I got mad. And I said, "Oh, I'll shut up if you want. I'm going to show him what it's going to sound like without the hype man."
And you hear it.
Go ahead.
Let's take a listen, ladies and gentlemen. Danny Danilovic, the United Serbs. Hell, if you look at the screen, Danny, you see what it says? Woo!
Yeah.
Pete Konjevic, thank you, Pedro.
What year is this?
Oof, mene pitaš.
It says on there.
1988.
There you go. This is where I was at my peak of screaming.
This is it. Haydi haydi! Oh yeah, there it is, Danny. You hear it? Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the United Serbs 1988 Sharplanina. Come on. Oh, yes, here we go.
It's a good one. That's a good one. I missed, who I missed the most. I mean, I miss all the guys on the stage, but Rada and me on stage had a little thing. We were always we didn't have to say "look at that" or point. We would see something out there. You know what I mean? It could have been anything. A short little tie, pants that are too short, a pretty girl, and he would just give me a nudge, and I'd look out there, and boom, I know what he's talking about.
Right?
Rodney too. I wasn't close to Milan. He was on the other side. So, yeah.
Danny, let me ask you a question. Someone asked earlier. They asked me to make sure I asked you this question. You had two accordions at one time. You had rhythm guitar, Rodney, right? You had drums, right? We'll talk about the drummers in a minute.
Yeah.
Why never a bass guitar player?
Yeah, good question, and that is why I switched to keyboards. It was a sacrifice. I don't know. We had most bands when they had two accordions. You don't want to get more than 4 or 5 guys, and plus we had a singer who didn't play anything. Mm-hmm. So to get a bass player, that's 6 guys, and
so is it financial?
It would have sounded better, but it's Momo Rankovic had just a guitar player. Soko in the beginning had 2 accordions and a guitar player, mm-hmm. and later on, Alex switched from the accordion to bass. So same reason I did. Alex, great accordion player, mm-hmm. and I was a good accordion player, but I missed the bass. I couldn't. The new stuff coming out needed bass. Mm-hmm. Rodney couldn't do it by himself because it just was missing. It was empty.
Danny, let's talk about. You've played how many events? 100 events a year?
75,322.
Thank you. I knew you knew that number. You have everything on paper.
I don't know.
Hey, tell me, while we're on that subject, how did you start recording? How did that happen? Because, man, brate, let me tell you, look at what you have created for us. An archive of unbelievable uspomene, memories of detinstva. And this goes from generation to generation. I've seen it. Kako se počeo?
I think it's because I did love recording to begin with. I told you, my dad bought me a tape recorder, and that was, I loved recording. I had cassettes and cassettes of recording off the radio, American music and Serbian. And that's how I collected all those colos. And I always loved that. So, Milan goes, let's record ourselves one day, see how do we sound, And I just brought a little tape deck, a regular stereo tape deck with 2 microphone inputs, one facing that way, one facing that way. We recorded it for ourselves. It was probably in '86. Don't even have those recordings. Somebody took them and never gave them back. Mm-hmm. But and people started hey, copy that for my cousin. Hey, make a copy of for my dad. He wants to listen to. So people were starting. They wanted these cassettes. Next year, I did it again. But I did it a little better. I had a 4-track mixer, a little Tascam. And again, everybody wanted a copy. So I'm running 3 cassette decks at one time in my house, copying every night 3 cassettes. Still not selling them or anything. And but now all the folklore kids want them. Oh, Danny, can we have one? And then they'd copy it and they'd copy it. And next thing you know, everybody's got a copy of our music. I said, well, I can't keep up with this. Let's take it somewhere and the next year. Let's take it somewhere and have it duplicated. Mm-hmm. Still no picture on the cover, just so I don't have to copy it in my house. And it said United Serbs. That's it. No, not even a song. And that was probably 87 and 88. And I do have those. You just heard the 88 shot of Planino. Mm-hmm. But those were never on an official cassette. And then one year I said, well, look, let's just go for it. Let's put a picture on there, a picture of us. Mm-hmm. And we recorded 3 hours. These are 2 90-minute cassettes mm-hmm. that we did, and that's a lot of music. It was $10. We didn't make no profit on that. I paid off whatever it cost me to do it, to duplicate it, and we had enough for a few rounds of drinks.
The first time, going back to the woo, right? Did you hear that on on the recording? Is that how you kako ti to palo na pamet, and how did you wind up going about using that? Because the woo was instrumental in my life. Even Pikwan, right?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, I'm answering something. Say that. I'm
You
sorry.
don't know you're live. Hello, bre.
I'm sorry for pertinent information here.
Information, right?
Say that again. I'm sorry. Apologies.
Tell me where the woo came.
Oh, the woo. Yeah. Well,
And then did you test it by listening to it and then saying, "Oh wow, it sounds good. I'm going to do it"?
No, it was Prince. Prince was doing it in 1984. Purple Rain came out, and he, if you listen to Purple Rain, you'll hear him do it in there, and Let's Go Crazy. And I loved it. It's just, I don't know why I liked it. I started doing it here and there, but I'm like, oh, it's too low. I got to get it higher like him, and, but I did it. I don't know. Rodney's like, hey, so take him all. You get it higher, and, and at first Rodney's like, man, you sound like a chick. I'm like, but I don't know. I just like doing it. I did other stuff too, but the woo, yeah.
That stuck. I remember that as a kid. I'm telling you.
Remember that thing? You got to do it now while I'm singing. No, he didn't care. I'm just kidding. He probably gave me a few looks in the beginning, but that's it.
So Danny, you record all this music of other artists. And another question that comes by, and Milos Guerrero also asked it, why not? Why didn't the United Serbs come out with their own professional song? Do you regret not doing it? Maybe.
No, none of us really had those skills. If anybody could have done it, it would have been Rade and Milan because of their command of the language. I speak pretty good Serbian, but rhyming in Serbian and the grammar, it's no way.
Bro, they're killing.
Obviously, Rade and Milan never pursued it either, so it just wasn't our thing. We liked established hits, we have to create. But then again, we did create hits out of songs that were not hits. Let's face it. I don't think any band played all those Rocky songs. Not that they couldn't. But they didn't.
Right.
And we made hits out of those to where when we weren't playing, the kids would go up and ask for these songs. I remember Johnny Hamilton going, "Hey, Danny, what the hell is Grechanica? What is that? What is Moiran Luda?" And I'm like, well, Johnny, you just got to dig a little deeper. You'll find out.
Tell me, how many times did you guys practice? Weekly?
In the beginning, yeah. In the beginning, to rehearse, we tried to get synced, because we were two separate bands merging. So we had rehearsal. Milan pushed for rehearsals a lot, and I lived in Cal City. He lived in Four Seasons. It was kind of a drive, but we did it. It was fun. We did it, and we learned a lot of stuff. They learned my stuff. I learned their stuff. But as we started playing more and more, we did not rehearse much. What I decided was when I get a good batch of new songs that I want to learn, when the old ones were starting to get stale, I would I say, hey, let's get together. I got a bunch of new songs. And Milan would be like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to hear this. It's going to be hot ones, And Milan and Rade would bring their stuff, the Vashar and the Tozovats and whatever, Marinko, this stuff that for weddings. But those were pretty easy to learn, standard country music kind of thing.
When did you notice the sound change in music, right? You notice that there is a change somewhere. What years and where?
Well, a lot more keyboards, a lot more the drums now. I mean, Brena was the first one to come out with like full drum set. Mostly you'd have Shaban and maybe have some bongos playing in the back, never a full drum kit. That was Brena. After she hit big, everybody had a drum set, and so that now, because we were taking songs that had no drums, Dusan Achamovic, we were taking songs that had no drums and adding drums, right? We were making it, as you heard the originals a lot of times, we didn't sound like the original version. Like Grom Te Ubio, it didn't sound like that. Now the Topchagik saying it much different. Ours just was different. It was a guy singing it too. Rade's like, that's for the ladies.
So you really didn't practice. That's it. Todo.
Yeah, well, we did when we learn a new batch. So I would say once every month or 2 months, we'd learn a new batch of maybe 10 songs for Kolos, and then Rad and Milan would throw in a whole bunch of other stuff.
Did that go? Did the practices become less and less as the years went on?
Yeah, because I don't know, we were getting tired. Just playing all the time. Nobody wants to get together and play some more, and so we started learning on the fly. Rather than Milan would come and say, "We're doing these new songs tonight, check it out." Milan would play it on the accordion, and they would sing it maybe a little bit, and boom, all right, that's easy. Same thing like Bure. Milan Twins comes out with this big album, right? The big one with Bure, and he goes, "I think I start playing this song," and I'm like, "I don't know, man. It's a lot of keyboards. It's techno. We got accordions, and Rodney and." He pushed it, and he just played it one night. I'm like, son of a, now I got him. So, and it sounded good. I'm like, okay, well, the keyboard makes it sound better, and then now I got to play bass. Boom, bom, boom, bom, boom, bom. I'm doing like it's work, and sure enough, it stuck. It was his idea. He was the one who created Bure.
Did he?
Oh yeah, it was his hit.
Milan Kalaba.
He was always the one who sang it.
Milan Kalaba. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Milan sang. I didn't. Okay, so how did you guys decide who sings what? How did that work out?
Well, Rada sang all the wedding stuff, Krajina stuff.
Milan Kalaba right on the screen there for you folks.
Yeah, and if Milan brought the song to the table, he would sing it. It was kind of like the Beatles, when they wrote a song, and the guy who wrote it get to sing it, right? Mm-hmm. So the stuff I brought to the table, I just sang it, but. Originally, it was all Rade. He was the only singer. He did all the singing. And one day, Mladosti Moja, I go, "Hey, this is a good one, Mladosti Moja. We got to do this." He goes, he didn't like it. He's like, "Well, why don't you sing it?" I said, "Oh, no, it's not going to sound right. You're the singer, And he goes, "You can do it. No problem." And man, I was sweating bullets singing that song the first time. To hear my voice, not talking, had plenty of that, but to sing it, I remember that night vividly, but that's how it started.
So you what years do you think were the change in music, the genre? When did it, when did it kind of change?
I guess in the early 90s, the early 90s is when the music started getting a lot more techno, and it was sounding better than what we could play it, because up till then we would make stuff sound better by adding Americanized stuff to it. But now their stuff, I couldn't keep up with it,
Let's talk about the stars that you did play with, the Estrada that came into town. I got a picture to show you right on the screen here. That guy, Legenda, Boro Drljača. Boro Drljača, Danny Danilovic. Danny, who else did you guys play with other than Boro, who's on the screen?
Well, we played with Rocky Rodic a few times. Once. What am I saying? He was a guest singer at this big event we did in the Congress Hotel, and they had him go up and sing a few songs because he was at the Kafana nearby, and but he didn't sing with us. He sang with the other band that was there. It was another Yugo band, and we sang our stuff, and he went and did their stuff. So meanwhile, we're talking to him backstage. I'm like, "Hey, we do a lot of your songs," and he goes. "Yeah. Well, which ones do you do?" And I'm like, "Well,"
you gave him his whole album.
Yeah. So I was talking about I said, "Well, do you know this one, Mladosti Moja?" He goes, No, I don't remember that. I said, "I was at the Angela." He goes, "Oh," he says, "I recorded those and I never sang them again." I'm like, "Well, all right, well, we'll play them. Maybe you'll remember." So we went up finally to play. We're playing Zate Angela. He comes running up. I did one verse. He comes running up. He goes, "Pato, znam la to." And he goes, "Čekaj, ja ću sad drugu." And then I'm like, "Great. Rocky's going to sing his own song." And then he goes, "You got the words?" The text. I'm like, "Yeah, right here in front of me." He's reading his own text. Well, he didn't write it, but, he's reading the text of his own song out of my book. And, Lepa Lukic, we sang with her.
Okay.
She just came out with Violina, right? We're at the
Violina, right?
Yeah, Union Hall. and in South Chicago by the steel mill, and big crowd. There was a beauty pageant. There was a year they had a beauty pageant, and all the Serbian girls were in it. It was just for fun, you know. And she goes, "Pa gde je orkestar da se malo snađem s njima, znaš šta ćemo pjevat." So she does her old hit. Milan knew that one. And then she's like, "Violina." I'm like, "We didn't hear it yet. It just came out, right? This is not before the age of internet." So she's like, "Pa morat ćemo da izvježbamo." Well, where are we going to go? Union Hall is just one big hall. There's no rooms. So she takes us
backstage
in the dressing room. So Milan's in awe of Lepa. Rade, I don't think Rade was even there because he had nothing to do with it. He's not going to sing it. So Milan's looking at her and she's singing it, and he's like, "Oh man, I think that's a G," you know. And he's looking at me like, "Come on, you know, I know you can catch this faster than me because I could catch it like that." But you know, I wasn't even paying attention. In my line of view, there's girls naked changing. Okay, girls that I know even, and I'm like, "Oh, what are we doing? What was G?" And she got mad. She's like, "Kako ne slušaš, sad sam ti rekao." I'm thinking, I don't give a crap about this woman, you know. I think we played it, but it was terrible. It was terrible.
Well, you got better as the years went on, right?
Yeah.
Danny, tell me a song that faded away.
Yeah.
Came back. Those text messages were rolling through.
My finger keeps ringing, right? Go ahead. That's part of being a celebrity, Spaz. I don't know if you get text like that.
I understand. Tell me a song that's faded away, but decided to come back.
Well, interesting that you would say that at this point. Yeah, I was.
We'll play that right after.
Yeah, Modesty Moya. I remember it was a big hit. Rodney played lead on it, and it faded out. It was like 1990s, and I'm sitting at a bar in Lansing, at the bar, not a bar, and my dad was in ICU at the time. He was ready, close to death, you know. And I knew it, and I was coping with it. And so I sat by myself at the bar, and just to avoid people. I wasn't like upset or anything. I was playing, you know. I knew it'll be okay. But the bartender says, "Hey, there's a young lady over there wants to buy a drink." So I look in her, and sure enough, there's a young lady, and I don't know, dopala me, you know, just
dopala.
It wasn't a girl that I knew. It wasn't any of the usuals. Right. And so right away, I got my ass up and walked over there and I'm like, "Oh, how you doing? You know, thanks for the drink." And long story short, she you know, girls, "Can you play Modesty Moya?" And she sounded just like that. "Can you play Modesty Moya?" No, I'm just kidding. And and I said, "Sure." I'm thinking to myself, we haven't played that in 4 years, but okay. And went up on stage, and I told the guys, they're like, "Well, what are we going to start with?" I'm like, "Let's do Modesty Moya." They're like, "What?" Ronnie goes, "I can't play that now." I'll play it. I'll play it on accordion, you know. And so I played it that night for that girl, and then next time she asked for it again, or I don't know, or I played it again when I saw it.
That sounds more like it. I know that feeling, right?
And then next thing you know, people are asking for it again, and boom, it's a resurgence.
Modesty Moya. Is that right?
That's my version. Don't play that one. That's like a weird. Play the United Serbs one. That's a Danny Danilovic.
Yeah. You don't like that one?
Oh, you like this one?
You didn't like it?
Not really. But go ahead.
No, we'll find the one for you. Danny, tell me something about Modesty Moya. When did you first play it, and when did it first come out?
That's a Rocky Rabic song. Just somebody gave me a cassette of his before I even knew who he was. I think it was before Žena, maybe, or not, but this girl named Milija Obradović, Pokojna Milica, she goes, "I love this song, Više no ikad, you got to play this." And I thought, it's under Oči zelene. It's the second half, is Modesty Moya.
Is it what it is?
Look for Oči zelene. So I learned that song, and I thought, wow, this is a pretty good song. You know, it's the first song I ever played keyboards on, right?
Okay.
We never used keyboards. And then I said, well, there's two other good songs on here, you know, Zata Angela and blah, blah, blah. And it's next thing you know, we get another cassette of Rockies. It's got Modesty Moya on it, a few other things. And we're like, wow, this guy's full of hits. but nobody knew them. Nobody ever heard of these songs except Jenna.
Right.
We played that one, but we didn't like it.
You didn't?
We weren't really a ballad kind of band. That's for place, and we did it. But
tell me, if there's one song you like to play, what would that be?
Say again?
If there's one song you did not like to play, what would that have been?
Well, there was a lot because I was bored with them. Like Plava Žena. Rade's pick the other week was his favorite song, Plava Žena. I don't care for that one anymore. Slavak Šečer. They were good songs when they came out. One me and Rade hated. Milan always wanted to sing it. And Rade, it's your favorite. I think it was Kafu mi draga I speci.
We all know that.
Boring, and he had to sing it. He goes, "Why don't you sing it?" You go ahead and sing it. I'm gonna go get a drink.
Danny, while I'm looking for the song, can you do me a favor? Since we're talking about heavy nights, you mentioned an evening that your dad was very ill and in the ICU, and that you played. Did you ever miss an event? Did you ever miss? I
think I only missed once, maybe twice, but the only time I missed was I was going to go on a vacation with my girlfriend at the time, and I think we were going to Wisconsin Dells, and we were booked up. We were booked up solid. So I picked a weekend where it was something really small, where they could play without me. Mm-hmm. Not that they couldn't play without me, but that means Milan would have to play all the stuff that I played, and all those songs that I sing. Somebody would have to sing. Anyway, it was Svetilia picnic. I think I missed that one. I did have a Michael Jordan moment once, though, where he played, with the flu.
Okay.
We were playing somewhere, and I got the chills and felt like throwing up. And we took a break, and I remember Rada saying, "Maybe you should just go home, take it easy." I was like, "No, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be all right. I'll give him a drink. Come here. Not demo. Uzme jedan shot. Biće ti bolje." Uroš. And no, I'd say I went up there and played because it was a packed house. Mm-hmm. And without me there, it would have been quiet, and it just would have been missing. So I went up there, and sweat dripping down my face. My throat was all
Danny, those are difficult evenings. I know that yearly you bring up a friend that had passed away, a very close friend, and I'd like to take a minute to make sure that he's acknowledged here. Can you tell me something about this young man I'm going to put on the screen right now?
Yes, that's Alex Tadic, pokojni Alex Tadic. It was my best friend at the time, and his mom was my mom's best friend, Anka Tadic, and a brother named Pete Tadic. And he was juvenile diabetic. I think that's how you say it. He got it in the 3rd grade, which means, I looked it up, people who get diabetes at that age don't live much past 30, so he knew he was going to die around 30, I think. Well, one night we're driving around, and a lot of times he would say, "Hey, stop at the gas station. I need some orange juice," get his blood sugar higher, mm-hmm. Or he would take a shot to bring it down. And one night we're at the gas station, and I hear a crash. He fell, he fainted, went into a diabetic coma. I poured sugar down his throat. Went to the emergency room, with him, and he survived. But he was having spells like that, and then one night he went into a diabetic coma, and I went to go play 114 Folklore Fest. Huge crowd, and I get a call. I mean, somebody's coming from the bar to the stage, and before cell phones, right? And so I don't know. And I noticed this guy's coming straight at me. I'm like, "What's this guy want?" He's got a serious look on him, and he goes, "Danny, my telephone's out there." I'm like, "Who's calling me? Everybody I know is here. My parents, my friends." And so I said, "All right." I walk over there. He goes, "No, you got to take it." So, all right. And as I'm walking there, I remember, shit, Alex is in hospital. Maybe it's good news that he's out of the coma or whatever. But no, it was his brother on the phone. He said Alex died. And I was in shock. I had to walk from the bar at 114th back through that crowd. People are, "Danny," they're tapping me on the shoulder. "Hey, play that song for me." And I'm just like a zombie walking.
Right.
And I was like, not to be dramatic, but I couldn't believe what the hell, Alex. died. And then I went up and told the guys, and they all knew him well. He would come every weekend with me or on his own, and he loved hanging out with us because he wanted to be a musician. He was a drummer, and he didn't have the power to play all night, but we let him play a few things every night. And yeah, they were bummed out. And we now, Milan's like, oh, maybe we should just, tell everybody we can play. I'm like, you can't do that. Just play. We finished the night, the last hour, and it was hard, but yeah, we did.
I'm sorry that it's so personal. I just thought it's just.
Yeah, a couple nights like that,
People, you have to go through some nights, some evenings, difficult evenings. You still have to go out there and put on the show, and it's not as easy as people think it is. And
yeah.
And since we're on this topic, let me just switch gears to the drummers. And you had 9 drummers, and unfortunately, one that I know of the 9, had also passed away. And I'm going to put their pictures up right here.
Yeah.
And as you can see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, these were the US 9, right? The US 9.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at the bottom of your screen, Bobby, Freak, as we knew him, was also a drummer for the United Serbs.
Yeah, the last one.
The last picture on that page. Tell me, how long did Bobby play the drums for you guys?
About a year. Things were kind of dwindling down. The crowds weren't there anymore. A lot of times, me and Milan just did stuff by ourselves because we had the keyboards with the machines. Not that they were better, but a lot of people didn't even want to pay the full price of a band anymore. So the 2 of us would go. And then when Bobby passed away, or I think before he passed away, we told him, look, we're just going to go on our own now without the drums, and then soon after that he passed away. So about a year.
So let's go back. He was your last drummer. And let's outline who these guys are. Who's the guy in the middle there? Alex? What's his name?
Well, the first one, top left.
We're going to go back in time.
Radovan Labovic was our first drummer, 4 years.
Oh.
Barely knew how to play drums when we snagged him from another beginner band. I literally taught him all the rhythms, sedamosmina, dvojka, četvor, David, the Niška Banja beat, all that. He didn't know it. Not to say that I taught him how to play drums, but I taught him those rhythms. And then he was a power drummer. I mean, he was 4 on the floor, everything, crash. And because of him, we got really loud because he was blasting. And he played 4 years with us, and then he moved on. He wanted to go. He played with the Kafane, and then we get Dusan. Dusan, suddenly quite the opposite. Very delicate drummer, but quick, very creative. He'd do a lot of like Rush or Police. So I'm like, hey, Dusan, you got to be louder. I can barely hear you. Dude, I'm sweating balls. Like, you want me to be louder? I'm like, yeah. So, he stayed with us about a year. Career got in the way there. He had a job, and he's still with that company, I think. And he had to travel every other weekend, but he loved playing. I mean, we loved him. He was a great guy. And he quit. And then finally, George, who had been with Soko, he was available. So we grabbed him, and he played with us for 4 years. He's a great drummer. I mean, he already was great, to begin with. And I liked him in Soko, so I was happy to have him. And he played for 4 years, and then he got married, decided he's going to quit, retire. Yeah, so now we're like, well, there's nobody available right now. So who do we get? Young George Ostojic, still in high school. I don't even know if he was a senior yet. He's in the folklore group, and he was still green, Yeah, there he is. Always girls behind him. And it's Dušanka and Nancy. And he, I'll tell you what, though, as much as we were playing, he got good real quick. It didn't take him long. He got really good. I mean, he was powerful, consistent. He didn't taper off. And he played with us for 4 years. Here's the problem with him, though. He wanted to be out there with his friends. He's entertaining them while they're out there having a good time at the bar with the girls. And I felt for him because I've felt the same thing for years. I've always wanted to be out there with those people, but I get a break, get to the bar through that crowd, and Rodney, yes,
Please.
George Mihailovich was always late, always. He played a wedding once, and he was so late, he was marching in behind the bride and groom with his big drums. I'm sure that's on somebody's video. They would love that. But they didn't fire him for that or nothing.
George on stage comes into the scene, young.
Now, we always had a lot of people on the stage, but now we got even more people on the stage, young girls his age, and we loved it. It was a party up there.
Sure.
At first, Milan is like, yeah, why don't you guys go downstairs and dance, but and he didn't like, because a lot of the little kids were knocking stuff over, and it's a lot of expensive equipment. He was right, but I didn't care. I liked the party. Now the people are up there with me, right? Not just me looking at them down there. Yep. The pretty girls are up there with me. I'm bringing all my my girlfriends, my clan, and they're up there. It was home base for them for their purses and coats. It made me feel good, like a rock star. So George quits finally after 4 years.
It's like a presidential term. Huh? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so the 4 years was a good one. So Pero has been following us around a lot at the time, and we let him play drums every once in a while. He's a pretty good drummer, and he was a good guy. And he was driving from Milwaukee just to see us, and we didn't know who to take at this point. Mm-hmm. And we were 98th and Commercial, and Milan goes, well, let's just take Pero. I'm like, he lives in Milwaukee, though. Is he going to make it on time? I mean, George lived only 20 minutes away, and he was always late. First George. But Pero, we took Pero. He loved it, and he was never late, really. He made it all the time, even from Milwaukee. Anyway, he went for 4 years, maybe, and again. And he started sitting on two chairs. Sasha Kushevich, Micho, started calling him to play drums with them. Mm-hmm. And we had a few weekends where we maybe didn't play, and he was like, oh, I could do it next Saturday. I don't play anywhere. So he's making big tips with them because they're a wedding band. Mm-hmm. And now he's saying, oh, yeah, I can't make it next Saturday. I got to work or something. We knew what he was doing. And I'm like, look, I can't keep looking for a drummer every weekend. Either you're with us or you're not. Because we never did outside gigs. We were just our band.
Right.
Anyway, we told him to make a decision. He can't do both, and he quit. He went with them. We got Philip. Philip was only there 1 year. Philip Popovic from Svetilia. Yeah, you know all these guys, don't you?
I do.
And he was a great kid, too.
Good friend, yeah.
But he quit, too, after a year. I think school, maybe. I think it was college. And then who was after Phil? I can't see.
You don't remember the part?
Right? Yeah, Goran. Goran was with us 5 years. Broke the record.
There you go.
He's a good guy. This is a cool picture because I was going to take a picture with Rade, right? And I gave it to the bartender. I go, hey, take a picture of me and Rade. And Milan and the guys got it aimed at us. And me and Rade kind of stepped back. And here comes Milan just walked up. Goran just walked up. They're like, what are you guys doing? And the guy took the picture, and it was just
get out of here.
Casual shot. Yeah.
That's a good shot.
So, yeah, Goran was really good drummer. He took us in a different direction. He played more like on the recordings. He did less rolls and less crashes. He did more of a tight, like you would hear on recordings live now. Mm-hmm. And he took us in a different direction.
Well, his dad was a musician as well. Right?
His dad played guitar with us when Rodney couldn't make it. Rodney had to quit. He was going to nursing school, and he was playing every other weekend because he had to study. And finally, he came to me and says, "Dano, I can't study enough." And I know that was a big decision on his part to quit the band because me and him, we loved. It was our dream, and to have to quit.
Right.
But that was a career, he's a nurse, so became a nurse. So then, then we got Alex Yakovlevich, young kid, full energy. We would love it when the folklore program was till 10 o'clock because we don't have to play an hour or two. Meanwhile, he's like, oh, when's this program going to end? I want to play. And I'm like, yeah. I know you do. So did I when I started.
Not drummers.
Yeah, and then he quit after a year too. I don't remember why. School probably. They were all young. They were all young guys.
Well, young and good, right?
Yeah, they were all good.
Yeah,
they were all good.
They wouldn't be playing with United Serbs if they weren't.
Well,
That's a personal.
A lot of them, when they started, they sucked. Like George was still green.
Bre. To je odavno bilo. To sam zaboravio.
Just saying. But they grew into the job. Yeah.
Right. Totally. Let's go to the song that went out and came back, shall we? And I found the version finally.
Okay.
And we'll be back. Stay there. We're not done just yet, ladies and gentlemen. Oči zelene, followed by Mladosti moja.
Samo su me varale i bol su mi stvarale, te tvoje zelene oči ne vrle. Prvo me očarale, pa me razočarale, te tvoje zelene oči ne vrle. Samo su me varale i bol su mi stvarale, te tvoje zelene oči ne vrle. Prvo me očarale, pa me razočarale, te tvoje zelene oči ne vrle. Samo su me varale i bol su mi stvarale, te tvoje zelene oči ne vrle. Samo sam sašao, sam te volela je bele ruže, muziku i mene, a ja sam bio ludi mlad, ljubio druge žene. Volela je bele ruže, muziku i mene, a ja sam bio ludi mlad, ljubio druge žene. Mladosti moja, ludosti, kuda me odvede od nje. Za lošim momcima sam drugčiji žena, prošlost je važno sve. Mladosti moja, ludosti, kuda me odvede od nje. Za lošim momcima sam drugčiji žena, prošlost je važno sve.
Kaže orkestar Ujedinjeni Srbi. Mladosti moja, the song that came back.
Right.
Danny, we talked about everybody, but you also had a female singer that was with you guys in the band, huh?
It's my mom. She sang with us.
Tell me, who was with you in the band we thus far haven't mentioned?
Vera Ostojic. She came in. What year was it? 96 and 97. We recorded her. It started out as Milan wanted her to sing, and he thought it would be good to do some female songs, and she was a pretty good singer. She was fun, and she had a lot of friends, and the girls loved her. Everybody loved her, She was fun, and first time she went up with her friend Zorica Dramichanin, maybe. And they both sang, and I thought Zorica had a nice, rich voice, but she was too soft, and she was scared. But Vera just belted it out. She didn't care. She was having a good time, and she always did. You could hear her when she sang how much fun she was having. But she only sang, maybe 4 or 5 songs a night, near the end. So she wasn't really paid in that, like we were. But we would give her money, of course. But she did a lot for us. But she wasn't a regular member, let's say, yet. Maybe she would have been later, but things kind of just started dropping. So
when did she start singing again?
I think 96 is when we first recorded her. So maybe 95-ish,
Gotcha.
And she did a lot more songs, but we didn't get to record them. They just didn't get recorded.
So as we move into this final phase, right, final chapter, I guess I would call it, right, of the United Serbs, when did you notice the fall off, the dissension, right? When did you notice the less bookings coming through? When did that all start to? Oh,
it started when the war hit, like the year after the war hit.
So 92, 93?
Yeah. I remember vividly one picnic at 114th. It was the first picnic. And it was always excitement. First picnic, can't wait, Right. And it was noticeably lower in crowd. Just I'm like, and then everybody had excuses. Oh, there's a couple weddings going on. That's the first one. Maybe they didn't know about it. I thought, yeah, maybe, but it's odd. It never happened before. Next weekend, again, it was a little low. It's like the next phase, the next generation didn't show up. And it was three factors. The Chetnik bubble had burst, the bubble we were all in, the protective bubble that protected the American Serb circuit that's been going on since the 50s burst because there was no more communism. So singers were coming over and even playing at the churches because, the churches never booked Serbian singers from Yugoslavia or musicians. And then the war also, refugees were coming over. They had a different taste, they liked, I don't know, the main thing in their eyes, most of them was not to come dance Moravac and Chachak. They liked different style of music, and maybe they went to different places. I don't know what it was. It was a combination of all those things and music changing.
Right.
Music was becoming different, more modern, harder to play. People were liking their CDs maybe a little bit more than us playing the same old stuff,
I gotcha. And when did you think, what years were those? When did you feel it?
I guess 93, 4, 5. I don't know. It's just slow tapering.
But so it wasn't, a 92, 93 fall. It was a slow.
Yeah, it was a slow tapering.
Yeah.
But the picnic I mentioned was that's when I first noticed something's up,
So at this point, 96, never asked you earlier, you're not married, I take it, right? Still? I don't remember you being married from before.
I've been married 5 times.
Married 5 times?
Yeah.
Well.
No, not married. Not married.
That's how rumors start. I just want you to know. Ja, on bio oženjen 5 puta, kao on je rekao. On Facebooku.
I don't know. I mean,
kids, what's your story, Danny? Let people know, because I don't think a lot of people do know, right?
Well,
get you on the screen.
I don't know. I remember there was girls always around.
Right.
I don't know. There was probably a few girls I could have married, but they just weren't the right girls. Not that they weren't good girls, but when you're used to having girls around you all the time, and I don't mean for anything, hanky panky kind of stuff. I mean just they were fun, and I guess I liked a certain type of girl, and the ones that maybe I wanted to date or marry, maybe they didn't have that same idea with me. Maybe they just wanted to be friends. And then the ones I liked, the ones that liked me, I should say, maybe they just weren't I didn't feel like I wanted to be with those girls. I guess I wasn't desperate enough. A lot of guys get married young, like 22, 3, 4. Oh, I better get married, or people are going to talk, or in the Serbian world, you got to get married. It's just tradition.
Sure.
And I didn't have that pushing me. I didn't have that worry. I would have married someone in a heartbeat had they been the right one. And you know how it is when you like somebody, you can't wait to talk to them again. I had that once, and it just kind of drifted. It wasn't the right timing. So things like that happen.
Sure. So you're still in Northwest Indiana, as you mentioned early on, and you still play, right? When did the United Serbs have their last show performance?
Well, when Milan fell ill, when he got sick, I remember the last gig we played, me and him, where we were at Bellwood, and he calls me up and he says, next day, he says, I'm not feeling good. Something's wrong with my eye. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, okay, we'll go check it out, and then he did, and then he got the bad news, that he had a cancer, lymphoma, and it was tough for everybody, his family, of course, even more. Me and Milan were always friends, and we were good coworkers. I mean, we were bandmates. He handled the business. I handled I was maybe, what'd you call it? The creativity, the music, but he handled all the bookings. And sometimes we'd clash. He had ideas I didn't like, and I'm sure I got on his nerves just as much. So we never hung out, me and him, really outside of the band. But we did talk a lot on the phone. He'd call me, "Hey, I got a new colo, check it out." Okay.
Oh, you didn't need to hang out. You guys had 100 gigs a year.
Yeah,
Every weekend.
right. But so, but I mean, we stuck together till the end, whether we had clashes or not. We stuck it out. We were always friends. Yeah. So anyway, he got ill, and I thought, well, once Milan passed away, they can't call it United Serbs anymore. Rade was gone. Rodney was gone. It was just me. And I don't want to be United Serbs with new guys. It's not United Serbs. So that's when I decided I'm going to retire the name United Serbs. I did play the 5 gigs we had booked while Milan was still, ill. And I took Bojan with me, and we finished those up under the name United Serbs. But then I retired the name, and now, yeah, I still play. I guess I don't advertise it enough, but I play a few gigs every year. There's Serb fests and stuff. You people see me, but I usually get Bojan, I get Rodney, and I get Rudy, the first drummer, and we have a lot of fun. So people were bugging me for a name. I couldn't think of a name. I just took the name Veseljak.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, "No, you mean Veseljaci?" I'm like, "No, Veseljak. It's just me." Okay, the other guys are interchangeable. They're talking about me.
Tell me, how much longer? How much longer do you go into this? Right?
I don't know. I mean, when they call, I can't say no. I want to play, but when they don't call, I'm not really out chasing it. I don't know why that is, because it's not the same anymore. It's not those days when the kids are screaming your name and asking. I play. Nobody even cares what we're playing. I don't even know what to play. Of course, Gori More, and Čačak Šesterka Rečenica. And then you play something else and they run away. Let's go. I don't know. The stupid song. So I don't like that. I like to be the center of attention. I like when people are there asking, do this, play that. Oh my God, sounds great. Then my energy level goes up. I'm sure you're the same way. You're the same way. I know you are. And that you feed off of that. The first time I remember playing a gig when I noticed nobody's paying attention anymore. And I just threw my hands up. I just gave up. Rade and Milan are looking at me, what's next? I said, I don't know. Play whatever. There was nobody there. There was nobody there. They were all outside or the bar. And they just looked at me like, uh-oh, we lost Danny. And yeah, that was it. I didn't care anymore what we played or,
Do you think they did?
What?
Do you think they cared? Even though you might not have personally cared to play?
Milan did. Milan loved it to the end.
Right.
He just loved playing. He loved playing more than any of us, I think, now that I think about it. But I just remember that, that lost my mojo with that. Even when there was nobody there, I was quiet until the crowd came.
Danny, did your, bands, the scene we're in, always surrounded by alcohol, drugs, women, etc.
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll. Did you ever have a problem with that or anybody in the band?
No, I never took drugs. I never even messed around with drugs. None of us did really. We drank. The good thing is most of it, we all drank at the Zabava. I didn't start drinking until I was 24 though. Now you try and be in a Serbian band and not drink. Okay. If you're a Yugo band, they just drink, kisela voda and kafu. Daj mi jednu kaficu. They're different. But American Serb guys, we always drink. I just didn't drink. I didn't care for it. I was like you. I didn't need it. You're always hyper. I know you don't drink. You don't need it. And one day, something over a girl, I liked, and it was post. And Rodney goes, "Come on, Dan, we're going out to drink. I'm gonna get you a drink." And I'm like, "No, I don't like that shit." You got me some fruity drink, and it tasted great. I sucked down like 5-6 of them. You remember Rodney's listening, and nothing. I was fine. And he goes, "It's gonna hit you, man." I'm like, "No, it ain't. I'm fine." Finally, we get back to playing, and he's all excited. "All right, let's go to the bar, get a drink." Well, guess what? They don't have no fruity drinks, So I didn't like mixing anything with Pepsi. I love Pepsi. I don't need nothing added.
Coke or Pepsi?
I'm a Pepsi guy.
Pepsi guy.
Yeah. So he got me a cognac. He said, yeah, it's sweet. You'll like it. So for 3 years, I was drinking cognac on the rocks till I threw up on that. And I switched to Christian Brothers in 7, which Uroš, his dad, was drinking. But yeah, so that I started drinking when I was 24. And, but I'm proud of the fact that I never drank during the week, never craved it, never needed it. But when I played, me and Rade would get up on stage. We'd just get to an event, hook everything up. Let's get, me and him were just looking at each other like, we got to get a drink, We'd hook everything up and check, 1, 2, 2, and he'd hand me his mic and I go, check 1, 2. And then he'd take it and go, you know. That's all he said. All right. I said, let's go. He goes, let's hit it. Meanwhile, Milan's still got his accordion. He's messing with the knobs, Hey, man, you guys going to go, man? We got to set up. We finished already. You going to meet us over there or what? And me and Rade were just hit the bar, man.
Speaking of drinks, what was the drink of the band? What was it?
Christian Brothers and 7-Up, but Milan drinks screwdrivers. He drinks screwdrivers and cranberry vodka. And Rodney drank Christian and Coke. And Rade, Christian Brothers 7-Up, no ice.
It's going to lead me right into the next song because my Maxim has been repeating it since day one.
Oh boy, I know which one it is.
Oh yeah, and we've been playing it on repeat here at the house, and Stefan is right behind him. So, you know what song I'm about to talk to, right? You know the song, right?
May the lightning hit you.
Well,
his favorite. That's not nice. I don't think we should sing that one. It's not nice.
All right, so just a little, give him a little, sorry, give him a little bit of a recap. How did that come about to playing the song?
Yeah, we bring it to, a batch of songs. Like I said, first we'd go through Milan and Rades because they were easy and fast. Even though Milan wanted to play them 10 times over, I'm like, I was bored with it already. But, then he got excited, like, okay, let's hear what you got. Because he knew these were going to be the dance songs, and they weren't just going to be colas. They're going to be something we developed and created from nothing.
Right.
And so I play Grom Tubio, and we're listening to it, and they're listening. Nobody's saying anything. And I look at Rade because he's got to sing it. He's the only singer at this time. His tape ends. I go, what do you think? He goes, that's not nice. What do you mean? Grom Tubio, that's not nice. And plus, it's for the woman. It's for the ladies. Finally, I said, "Look, it's not nice. It's a song on the radio, and everything." And so we played it, and I decided Rodney was going to do lead. I said, "The lead on the actual recording is a keyboard, like a horn or something." But I said, we didn't have a keyboard yet, not like that. So I said, "Rodney, do like just lead guitar," and he did, and it became crazy.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the crazy song. That's not nice.
That's not nice.
Grom Tubio. Budite tu, wrapping it up in a few. Let me hear you, Danny. Let's do it. Pokażę. Idemo! Ajde, Danny. Haydi, idemo, Juli.
nema tvoje ruke kao da umire. Tebe kad dugo nema, još se ne smeje. Sad kad nema tvoje ruke,
Hajde, idemo! Aj sad!
vrati se nesreću.
To! The United Serbs. Hajde da čujemo, vidimo, hajde. Come on, Danny. Hajde malo ušimo. Last verse here, let's go. Yo!
Tebe kad dugo nema, ime ti pogine. I samo malo snage, samo te promine.
Hajde!
Tebe kad dugo nema, ime ti pogine. I samo malo snage, samo te promine. Vrati se nesrećo.
Yo! How are you, Danilovic? Hajde!
Let's say happy birthday to Mileva Gligic, by the way.
I said again, nobody heard you. Go ahead.
Mileva Gligic, happy birthday to her today.
Today, srećan ti rođendan, Mileva.
Da.
Danny, as we wrap things up, I am thankful and grateful that you have agreed to sit down with me for going on 2 hours now. I really wanted this to be in digital format so people could know the story about the United Serbs. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, you and your band played a huge role in my life, my career, your energy, your kindness, pogotovo your kindness, and support during some potentially turbulent times where things were changing on the scene. And I want to tell you and thank you za to. Tvoje strpljenje je mnogo meni znači. Gonna tear up because to me is what to me you and your band are legendary. So hvala vam na sve.
Thank you very much. It's always nice to hear something like that. And I remember the first time I talked to you, Spaz. We were playing on the north side, and you were at Denny's on Higgins. I was sitting there with my friends Nada and Daniela, and you came and sat at my booth, and you started to tell me your dreams and aspirations with the confidence like nobody else. I mean, you immediately told me you wanted to be a DJ, and there was no such thing yet, no Serbian DJs. You were going to be on a radio, you were going to be a Serbian DJ, and you had it all together. And I said, "What are you going to call yourself?" And you said Spaz. And I'm like, "Well, that's a stupid name. What are you?" There was no Spaz.
The legend himself. Here we go.
The only Spaz we knew of was in the derogatory in the movie. What a Spaz. But hey, you knew what you wanted to be, but you did. You are a good hype man. You are, no matter what people think about your DJing skills. You're not a mixer. I know that. You're not one of those guys who mixes beats. You never were, but it doesn't matter. Those guys always bored me because they were so interested in getting them beats mixed and everything. They didn't talk. They didn't say nothing. And it took forever to get the next song on because they're mixing beats. You, bam, that's the kind of thing I did on American music on our breaks. Just one song's almost over. Boom, you hit him with the next one. Screams, yeah. And you're the hype man. You took what I had and you made a business out of it.
Very grateful to God first and foremost, and to people like you who played an influence.
I appreciate that.
I just wanted, just to clarify, there were other DJs on the scene.
Yeah.
Prior to me, I have to give credit where credit is due. One of them, who was very well known and very good at what he did, came out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and his name was DJ Dragan.
Right.
Again, DJ Dragan Plavšić. DJ Dragan, legendary name, and it was on the scene. He was older than me. He was on the scene before me, and he really was good at what he did. And he was
one of those real DJs where he mixed and everything. So I'm not putting those guys down, but for me, and being not into that kind of music, it wasn't exciting to me. You were more exciting to me because of the hype and the stuff you said.
Your words are truly appreciated. Hvala ti, brat moj dobar. Anything you want to let the people who are following us? We've stayed strong throughout this whole interview.
Yeah.
Anything you want to let them know? Anything? Any words of advice for future musicians? Any words of advice for the next generation of us?
I just want to say I'm overwhelmed with the kind of reaction I got doing that United Serbs show. Kind of give credit to you for that. You started doing this show. I never thought of doing it. You even called me one night and said you wanted to do an interview. And that's not why I did my show. But people were starting to say, well, why don't you do a show? Spaz does one. And I knew right away I didn't want to play live. People, when I play live out in the picnics or whatever, nobody cares. So why would they care now, right? I'm just saying, the way things are. But I said United Serbs will bring back some memories. And I started telling those stories. I thought, oh, people are going to get bored. But they seem to like the stories even more. But you gave me the idea. You had the idea first. And I appreciate, I got so many texts and messages and friend requests are coming in like 20 a day, maybe. People I don't even know, and it's all because of this show. And other opportunities have opened up. I've been talking to people that I haven't talked to in a while, and it's a great feeling. So you never know what can happen in life and what things can change in the drop of a dime. So
the country is watching us. Canada's watching us. I didn't get a chance to ask you, out of the 100 gigs, did you guys travel outside of the area?
Yeah, we did, but we were so booked up we couldn't play, and I was disappointed because we couldn't go. We were called to play California, San Diego, LA. We were called in Canada. We were called to Australia. I don't know if that would have materialized ever. It's expensive, but we were booked anyway. We were booked a year ahead of time, as Mladost Srbadi and Soko were, and Mladost, I'm sure too. But you got to get booked way ahead of time, and we did play Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Monroeville, St. Louis, just stuff within 6 hours, 8 hours drive, nothing more. We were called to New York. I can't even remember all of them, but it's the way it goes. I would have liked to play some tournaments or Pittsburgh 3-day. Would have loved to play those things.
Sure.
But didn't get that opportunity. Never went to Canada with the band.
You have left so many of us so much more nostalgic nowadays. Other than that, Mr. Danilovic, Danny Danilovic, hvala ti, prijatelju. Vidimo se, čujemo se. As people are saying, there needs to be a United Serbs reunion, and I think you should start. Yeah. It doesn't have to be for now, but maybe spring 2021, right?
Well, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's just going to be me and Ronnie.
Yes, but
retired. Milan's gone.
But more importantly, the uspomene, the memories of all those.
Yeah, well, maybe now, now with this resurgence with the show, maybe you never know. But just want to let people know if you want us to play, we will certainly play for anything that you would like us to play for. There's options out there. We are a band, and we do play. We do a lot of the old United Serbs songs, and we do some new ones. So, and I got Bojan Jasnic with me. He pumps in a little bit of youth there, a little bit of modern stuff, and.
Well, he was taught by a legend himself as well, right?
Novica Negovanovic taught him. So. Yeah, Bojan's like, my little buddy. I mean, we get along great. Same mentality. We're both mellow.
You sound like the skipper on Gilligan's Island here. Huh?
Me and him can just laugh forever. I got a lot of those young guys that I hang around with. They keep me young. Dusan Achamovic, Stevo Milevosnic, the young kid, plays trumpet with us sometimes. I've always had younger friends, and that is the formula. Stay with young people, and they will keep you young. Keep up with technology. Young kids will always help you learn new technology, and if you fall behind on technology, you won't even know how to back up your phone. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know all that stuff. Even no matter how busy you are, you got to keep up.
As you have for so many years, and you still are today. When is your next show? When can they expect you back, sir?
Well, we missed a show on the 15th of April because of this, stuff. We got canceled, Folklore Fest, and up till right now, nobody's planning anything yet. It's too early.
Brat boy, your next Facebook Live is when?
Probably Friday. I seem to like Fridays.
Friday, 7, 8 o'clock ish.
7 on the nose, not like some people. I'm just kidding.
Fashionably late, Trovic.
Yeah, that's probably because I'm half German. Germans are always on time.
Ja. Idemo dalje. Hey, veliki pozdrav, brat moj. We're going to end it with one of my favorites, if I can. Probably, if not my favorite of the band. Shall we?
Mm-hmm.
You want to guess which one it is?
Žikino kolo.
What happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gori more.
For the north side. Here we go. How would you guess, huh? Danny, if you want to join in singing on a little bit of this, it'd be great. Za kraj, huh? Nemoj se stiditi. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Danilovic. I should say Dan, but I don't think it is it?
Seljak.
To je to. Prijatelj moj.
Thank you, Fez.
Hvala tebi. Živ bio. Bogom. I got that recording from you guys.
Hey!
Hi there. And to all of you that have been with us all night long. Hvala vam od srca. Yo! Ajde sad. Ajde. Ready? Let's go.
Ide kući, a sestre se ljuda, sve surti, rakija ga žulja.
Oh yeah, hajde, pokaže.
Desno može, ne može pravo, tamo mi je moje, ukanali spavo.
Ready, here we go, pokaže.
Hey, hey, hey.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can rewatch this episode with Danny Danilovic on Got Time Facebook page. Znam da imate vremena. Otherwise, it's facebook.com/gottime2020. Hi, son!
Se enamora, se enamora, se enamora.
Here we go. No. No.
Danilovic. Oh, morano luta, oh, quereste luta, oh, morano luta, oh, quereste luta, oh, morano luta, oh, quereste luta, oh, morano luta, quereste luta.
Oh, yeah. Right there, the nucleus. Ujedinjeni Srbi. Rad Ostojić, Milan Kalaba, and Danny Danilovic. Prijatelji moji, we're going to continue with a few more of their songs. Enjoy it. Uživajte.
Okay, here's Toya Tour. Prince Marcos, Dushanka, and Anja. And their little circle. Everybody scream! Šta ti radi rodila je zaspala, a korana zaspala, rodila se napila, a zato se napila, cijele noće snapila, se obure popila, a čisto se opila. To je to, ajmo svi da igramo, to je to, ajde da se volimo, to je to, ajmo svi da igramo, to je to, celo je da pevamo. Ajde, Okay, we're gonna do Gazio for Myra.
Prime ocasión, mami te quiero vacío, se me oye claro, vacío, vacío, vengo y va paso, nadie te ve, hoy lo mío. Vacío, vacío, recogida pasó, nadie te ve, hoy lo Dios Quizá olvida recogida y sus besos son mentiras rescatados, con ellas es un poquito de bella. Vacío y vacío, recogida pasó, nadie te ve, hoy lo mío. Vacío y vacío, recogida pasó, nadie te ve,
I soldi per incontrare la timidi e male cattivi vengono sera che mi vuoi le